Launch Director, this is KSC weather on channel 20.
69 minutes, 38 seconds and counting. The loading of Centaur's
reporting.
9,400 gallons of extremely cold liquid hydrogen fuel is underway at this time. The countdown for the launch of Voyager at 8:56 a.m. this morning continues to go well. The loading of the gaseous helium, which is used to pressurize Centaur's propellant tanks, is also underway and should be completed at the T-minus 60-minute mark. One final built-in or planned hold remains in the countdown. This hold is of 10 minutes duration and comes at the T-minus 10-minute mark. Weather conditions are acceptable for this morning's launch attempt. The count now stands at T-minus 69 minutes and counting. This is Voyager Launch Control. This is Voyager Launch Control. The count now stands at T-minus 59 minutes, 54 seconds and counting. The loading of the gaseous helium used to pressurize Centaur's propellants has been completed, and preparations remain on schedule for the launch of Titan Centaur 6 with Voyager 1 at 8:56 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. This is Voyager Launch Control. This is Voyager Launch Control. The count now stands at T-minus 49 minutes, 28 seconds and counting. We remain on schedule for a liftoff of Titan Centaur 6 with Voyager 1 at 8:56 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. To summarize launch preparations to this point, the countdown for launch began at 9:21 p.m. Sunday evening. Initial preparations included powering up the Centaur for a series of propulsion, hydraulic, and pneumatic preparations. Removal of the 240-foot tall mobile service tower, which provided 360-degree access to the space vehicle during flight preparations, was moved back to its pad, to its park site at Complex 41 this morning, with the move completed shortly after 5 a.m. The two liquid stages of the Titan rocket were loaded with fuel and oxidizer last Thursday and Friday. These two stages use Aerozine 50 as a fuel and nitrogen tetroxide as an oxidizer. They are hypergolic, meaning they ignite on contact, and no ignition system is needed. Unlike the cryogenic or super cold fluids aboard the Centaur stage, these liquids are storable. Loading of liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen for Centaur began shortly after the count emerged from a 60-minute built-in hold at 6:51 a.m. this morning. Some 2,800 gallons of liquid oxygen and 9,400 gallons of liquid hydrogen will be aboard Centaur at liftoff. Topping off of these propellants will continue until the final moments of the countdown to ensure that a full supply is aboard at liftoff. One built-in hold remains in the count. This is of 10 minutes duration and comes to the T-minus 10-minute mark. Weather conditions are acceptable for launch. Surface winds are 5 knots out of the southwest. The maximum winds at altitude are 45 knots out of the northeast at 92,000 feet. Cloud coverage is 2/10 from 1,600 to 2,500 feet, 2/10 from 12,000 to 15,000 feet, and 6/10 from 26,000 to 33,000 feet. The temperature at launch time should be about 80 degrees. All continues to go well on the countdown at this time. The count now stands at T-minus 47 minutes, 21 seconds and counting. This is Voyager Launch Control. This is Voyager Launch Control. The count now stands at T-minus 38 minutes, 25 seconds and counting. All continues to go well at this time. We're heading for a liftoff at 8:56 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. A spin-up boost test of the Centaur boost pumps has just been performed. These two pumps are driven by hydrogen peroxide and deliver the initial charges of liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen to the Centaur engines at the proper pressure for ignition. After ignition, the engine burn is self-sustaining through turbo pumps. The count now stands at T-minus 37 minutes, 54 seconds and counting. This is Voyager Launch Control. This is Voyager Launch Control at T-minus 28 minutes, 57 seconds and counting. The chill down of the Centaur's propulsion system with extremely cold liquid helium has been completed. Liquid helium is supplied from the pad, and its extreme coldness, about 450 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit, prepares the Centaur's pumps to handle the super cold or cryogenic fluids which the Centaur stage uses as propellants. The chill down reduces the shock of contraction and other stresses when liquid hydrogen at a temperature of 423 degrees below 0 begins to flow through the system. Pre-chilling the system also ensures that the fuel enters the combustion chambers as a liquid rather than a gas. Chill down will be continued from pad sources until 7 seconds prior to liftoff. During flight, the chill-down process will be continued by bleeding small amounts of liquid hydrogen through the system. The count now stands at T-minus 28 minutes, 5 seconds and counting. This is Voyager Launch Control. This is Voyager Launch Control at T-minus 25 minutes, 11 seconds and counting. The countdown continues to go well at this time. Voyager 1, like its sister spacecraft, Voyager 2, carries a phonograph record called Sounds of Earth on the chance that intelligent beings might someday capture the spacecraft as they continue on their voyages through interstellar space. The 12-inch copper disc contained greetings from Earth people in 60 languages, samples of music from different cultures and eras, and natural sounds of surf, wind and thunder, birds, whales, and other animals. These records contain electronic information that an advanced technological civilization could convert into diagrams, pictures, and printed words, including a message from President Carter. They also carry this message from Kurt Waldheim, Secretary General of the United Nations.
As the Secretary General of the United Nations, an organization of member states who represent almost all of the human inhabitants of the planet Earth, I send greetings on behalf of the people of our planet. We step out of our solar system into the universe seeking only peace and friendship, to teach if we are called upon, to be taught if we are fortunate.
The records are attached to the sides of the main body of the spacecraft in prominent locations. It contains, in scientific language, information on how the records are to be played using the cartridges and needles